Picture this. You step onto a subway car during rush hour. The doors slide shut behind you and you're instantly surrounded by a sea of people. There's barely enough room to move and everyone is pressed shoulder to shoulder, clutching bags, phones, and briefcases. The air is thick with the scent of summer heat and the quiet hum of tired commuters. You can hear the faint screech of the train on the tracks, and the only thing louder is the collective sigh of exhaustion that seems to hang in the air. People are packed in like sardines, barely able to shift their weight as the train lurches forward. Some are standing, gripping the overhead rails, while others are squeezed into seats, their knees almost touching. The atmosphere is heavy, and you can almost feel the fatigue radiating from every passenger. It's the middle of a sweltering summer day, and beads of sweat trickle down foreheads. Some commuters try to fan themselves with newspapers or the backs of their hands, but it doesn't help much. The heat makes everyone sluggish, and the energy in the car is low. People's eyelids droop, and you can see the telltale signs of a long, tiring day etched on their faces. Suddenly, a man in a rumpled suit, his tie loosened and his hair slightly askew, lets out a giant yawn. His mouth stretches wide open, and for a moment he closes his eyes, lost in that brief, satisfying stretch of a yawn. It's the kind of yawn that seems to come from deep within, a full-body release of tension. Then, something fascinating happens. The woman sitting right next to him, who had been staring blankly at her phone, suddenly feels the urge to yawn too. She tries to stifle it, but it's no use. Her mouth opens wide and she lets out a yawn of her own, almost in perfect sync with the man beside her. Across the aisle, a teenager with headphones, lost in their music, glances up just in time to catch the woman's yawn. Without even realizing it, the teenager's jaw drops, and they yawn too, stretching their arms above their head as if waking from a nap. Before you know it, a ripple of yawns begins to spread through the subway car. One by one, passengers start yawning, some discreetly behind their hands, others with unabashed, wide-mouthed yawns. It's like a silent wave moving from person to person until almost everyone in the car is caught up in it. What's going on here? Why is everyone suddenly yawning? It turns out that yawning is one of the most contagious behaviors known to humans. Just seeing someone yawn, or even just thinking about yawning, can trigger the urge in others. It's so powerful that even reading about yawning, like you are right now, might make you feel like yawning too. Have you ever noticed that when someone nearby yawns, you almost instantly feel the need to yawn as well? It's almost as if your brain is wired to copy the behavior, even if you're not tired at all. This phenomenon isn't just limited to strangers on a subway. It happens at home, at work, in classrooms, and even when you see someone yawn on TV. And here's the funny part, it's almost impossible to resist. You might try to fight it, clenching your jaw or looking away, but the urge is overwhelming. Sometimes just hearing the word yawn is enough to set you off. It's a reflex that seems to bypass our conscious control. But why do we yawn in the first place? Is it just a sign that we're tired or bored, or is there something more to it? And why is it so contagious, spreading from person to person like a secret signal? Scientists have been fascinated by these questions for centuries. Some believe yawning helps cool down our brains, keeping us alert when we're feeling drowsy. Others think it's a way for groups to synchronize their behavior, like a subtle form of communication that helps us bond with those around us. There's even evidence that contagious yawning is linked to empathy. The more empathetic you are, the more likely you are to catch a yawn from someone else. Scientists have been trying to figure this out for centuries, conducting experiments and studying brain activity to unlock the secrets of the yawn. While we still don't have all the answers, one thing is clear. Yawning is more than just a sign of sleepiness. It's a fascinating, mysterious behavior that connects us all in ways we're only beginning to understand. Yawning is one of those everyday mysteries that we all experience yet rarely stop to think about. It's something so universal, so instinctive that it almost feels like a reflex. Whether you're a child, an adult, or even an animal, yawning is a behavior that transcends age, culture, and even species. But have you ever wondered why we yawn? What purpose does it serve? And why does it seem to happen at the most unexpected times? Today we're going to explore the fascinating science behind this simple, yet puzzling act. Despite being such a common part of our lives, yawning is still a bit of a mystery to scientists. We all do it, and we do it often, sometimes several times a day. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, where you live, or what language you speak. Yawning is a shared human experience, and it's even seen in many animals, from dogs and cats to birds and reptiles. This universality has made yawning a subject of curiosity for researchers for centuries. Most of us associate yawning with feeling tired or sleepy. It's that familiar urge that creeps up late at night or first thing in the morning when we're just waking up. Sometimes a big yawn is accompanied by a satisfying stretch, as if our bodies are trying to shake off the last remnants of sleep. But tiredness isn't the only trigger for a yawn. We also yawn when we're bored, like during a long meeting or a slow-moving class. It's almost as if our brains are searching for stimulation, and yawning is a way to signal that we need a change of pace. But interestingly, yawning doesn't just happen when we're low on energy or interest. In fact, people often yawn right before exciting or stressful events, like athletes before a big race or performers before stepping onto the stage. This seems counterintuitive. Why would we yawn when we're about to do something thrilling? The answer isn't entirely clear, but it suggests that yawning might be linked to more than just sleepiness or boredom. Over the years, scientists have proposed many theories to explain why we yawn. But two main ideas have gained the most attention and debate in recent times. These theories try to answer the question, what is the real function of yawning, and why has it persisted across so many species and situations? The first theory is that yawning helps to cool down our brains. According to this idea, when our brains get too warm, perhaps from being awake for a long time or from mental exertion, yawning acts like a built-in air conditioner. The deep inhalation of air and the stretching of facial muscles increase blood flow and help dissipate heat, keeping our brains at an optimal temperature for thinking and functioning. Some studies have even used thermal cameras to show that the temperature of the brain drops slightly after a yawn. The second major theory is that yawning is a form of social communication. This idea suggests that yawning isn't just about physiology, it's also about connecting with others. You've probably noticed that yawning can be contagious. If someone near you yawns, you might find yourself yawning too, even if you're not tired. This contagious effect is thought to be a way for groups to synchronize their behavior, perhaps as a way to signal drowsiness, alertness, or even empathy within a social group. In fact, some researchers believe that contagious yawning is linked to our ability to empathize with others. When we see someone yawn and then yawn ourselves, it might be a subtle way of showing that we're in tune with their feelings and state of mind. This could help strengthen social bonds and promote group cohesion, especially in animals that live in packs or communities. So, while yawning might seem like a simple, even trivial act, it's actually a window into some of the most intriguing questions about our brains and our social lives. Let's dive a little deeper into each of these fascinating theories and see what the latest research has to say about why we yawn. Think of your brain like a computer. Just as a computer is made up of intricate circuits and processors that handle vast amounts of information, our brains are constantly working behind the scenes, processing thoughts, emotions, and sensory input every second of the day. Both are powerful, complex systems that need to stay within a certain temperature range to function at their best. When a computer gets overheated, it slows down. You might notice the fan whirring loudly or the screen freezing for a moment. Sometimes, if the heat builds up too much, the computer might even crash or shut down entirely to protect itself. This is because excessive heat can damage the delicate components inside, making it impossible for the computer to keep up with your commands. In the same way, our brains are sensitive to temperature changes. Our brains are similar. When they get too warm, they don't work as well. You might feel foggy, have trouble concentrating, or even get a headache. Just like a computer, the brain's performance drops when it overheats. This can happen on a hot day, during intense mental activity, or even when you're feeling stressed. The body has to work harder to keep the brain cool, and if it can't, you might notice your thinking slows down, or you feel unusually tired. Yawning, according to this theory, is like a built-in cooling system for our brains. It's not just a sign that we're bored or tired, it's actually a clever way our bodies help regulate brain temperature. When you yawn, your mouth opens wide, and you take in a deep breath of air. This action stretches the jaw and increases blood flow to the face, head, and neck, which can help dissipate heat. When we yawn, we take in a big gulp of air. This isn't just about getting more oxygen, it's also about bringing cooler air into our bodies. The rush of air cools the tissues in the mouth and throat, and the act of stretching the jaw helps pump blood through the area more efficiently. This combination of cool air and increased circulation is thought to help lower the temperature of the blood flowing to the brain. This cool air cools down the blood vessels in our head and neck. As the blood passes through these areas, it absorbs the cooler temperature from the air you've just inhaled. The effect is subtle, but over time it can help keep the brain from overheating, especially during times when you're feeling drowsy, overworked, or exposed to warm environments. The cooled blood then circulates to our brains, helping to lower their temperature. This process is a bit like a car's radiator, which uses cool air to keep the engine from getting too hot. By cooling the blood before it reaches the brain, yawning may help maintain optimal brain function, keeping you alert and focused even when conditions are less than ideal. Some studies have shown that people tend to yawn more in situations where their brains are likely to be warmer, like in hot weather. For example, you might notice yourself yawning more often on a sunny afternoon, or when you're in a stuffy room with little airflow. Researchers have even found that people yawn less in cooler environments, supporting the idea that yawning is linked to temperature regulation. So, the next time you catch yourself yawning, remember, your body might just be trying to keep your brain cool and sharp. Have you ever heard of mirror neurons? They're special cells in our brains that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing that same action. Mirror neurons are thought to be involved in empathy, imitation, and social bonding. The theory is that when we see someone yawn, our mirror neurons fire, making us automatically mimic the action. This could explain why yawning is so contagious. It's like our brains are saying, "Hey, I see you yawning, I'm going to yawn too to show you I understand and relate to you." So, here's a fun experiment you can try at home. Just find a friend or family member and tell them you're going to try not to yawn, no matter what. Then, have them yawn repeatedly while you watch them closely. Can you resist the urge to yawn too? It's really hard, isn't it? Yawning is incredibly contagious, and honestly, it's a testament to the power of our mirror neurons and our natural instinct to connect with others. Here's another interesting thing about yawning. Sometimes just thinking about it or reading about it is enough to make us do it. Did you yawn while reading this essay? If so, you're not alone. Our brains are powerful things. The mere suggestion of an action can sometimes be enough to trigger it. It's like our brains can't tell the difference between actually seeing someone yawn and just thinking about it. So, which theory is right? Why do we yawn? Scientists are still trying to figure it out. It's possible that both theories are correct. Maybe yawning does help to cool down our brains. And maybe it's also a way for us to communicate and connect with others. Yawning is a complex behavior, and there's still a lot we don't know about it. More research is needed to unravel all of its mysteries. Here's another fascinating fact. Humans aren't the only ones who yawn. Many animals, including dogs, cats, chimpanzees, and even birds and fish, yawn too. And just like with humans, scientists aren't entirely sure why animals yawn either. Some scientists believe that yawning serves a similar purpose in animals as it does in humans, cooling the brain, communicating, or both. It's a reminder that we're all connected in the web of life, sharing many of the same basic biological functions. The next time you yawn, take a moment to think about it. Why do you think you yawned? Was it because you were tired, bored? Did you see someone else yawn? Or were you just reading about yawning? Paying attention to your own yawning habits can be a fun and interesting way to learn more about your body and how it works. And who knows, you might even make some new discoveries about this everyday mystery.